welcome to Hearts and Stripes, your one-stop shop for all things military marriage. I hope our discussions and interviews equip you with the tools to start or grow a beautiful marriage as we address the benefits and challenges of marriage. I believe life's most precious moments are worth celebrating, so I'll help you design your marriage blueprint in alignment with your core values. Thank you for joining us, and remember to rate, subscribe, and review. Let's do this. Ladies, lean in because I have some exciting news for you. This episode is brought to you by the Command Collective community. Now, if you haven't been on Instagram with us building and shaping this community, don't worry. You still have the opportunity to be a part. The Command Collective is a 12-month implementation and support experience for military women and spouses ready for community of diverse women who are looking to root one another on as we thrive personally in our marriage and in building a legacy. Listen, this membership is like none other, and you can try it for $1 for the full first month. You get this? Okay, and the reason why, let me tell you why it is so important to be in community is because what I've realized is you don't go as far as your dream, you go as far as your team. So I am inviting you to get a part of this collective team with the Command Collective community. Check it out today at breecarroll.com/community. That's breecarroll.com/community. And we can't wait to welcome you into the Command Collective. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hearts and Stripes podcast. This is your host, Bree Carroll, and I am so excited that you are joining me for a heart to heart. If this is your first time here at Hearts and Stripes, welcome. We are so grateful to have you here. A couple of things that you need to know are that we talk on three main principles. We want to see you thrive personally. We want to see your military marriage thrive, and we really want to see your legacy thriving. And you have come during a very awesome time frame. This is the Unwrap and Recap series. I need like sound effects or something to come in because it's like such a celebration. And I'm excited because I actually have my co-host who will be joining me for this series, none other than Juvilyn Garcia. Say hey to everybody, Juvilyn.
Hi, everyone. So excited to be here.
Yeah, so let me shout out Juvilyn really quickly. If you want to know more about her, you should definitely check out episode 50. She was my guest for that episode, and she talked all about effective communication. So I'm really excited that she's going to join me for this Unwrap and Recap series. And really what we're doing is we're looking back at the top episodes for this season or for this year. And I'm really, really grateful that she is a fellow marriage advocate, right? If you want to check her out, definitely follow her on Facebook because you'll get all the goodness there. And her Instagram pages, and we'll link that below so that you're not missing out. But I love the fact that every time we come together, it's a lot of joy, a lot of laughter. So this is going to be a fun series, and I am excited to dive in.
At that conference, we learned about the idea of investing in other marriages through small group studies. And so we were brand new believers. We probably had no business leading others in small group marriage studies.
Thrown right into the fire. I love it.
Yes. But we started doing that, and that was our third assignment. So we moved 11 more times while he was on active duty. And as we moved around, we just continued to open up our home, invite people, hey, we're going to do this marriage small group study. Would you like to come? And we did it every location we lived at, often many different groups. And over the years, we invited people who weren't believers, just neighbors, people who lived down the hall when we lived in apartment style living at Osan Air Force Base in Korea. And people were hungry to invest in their marriage. I can't remember a time that we had somebody turn us down and not come. We provided childcare at somebody else's house, and the study at our house. Sometimes it was at both of our houses, depending upon where we lived. And it was really just our way to invest in other marriages, but it didn't just invest in their marriage, it invested in ours. As we continued to pour into others with these very easy to lead studies, we were placing deposits in our own marriage.
I love that.
So my husband served 25 years, and about a year before he decided he was going to retire, he said, "Hey, I'm going to retire. I've done everything I feel that I'm called to do on active duty." And I was like, "No, I'm really
Look
scared.
At that.
These are our people.
Mm-hmm.
These are my people. The military community is my community." And he was like, "I know you've changed, but wow, that's a really big change."
Yes.
So God, we just began praying, like, "Lord, what are we supposed to do?" And God opened a door for us to go into full-time ministry. And now we are in full-time ministry, investing in military families. We still do marriage studies, but we also disciple cadets at the Air Force Academy. We disciple men and women that serve, and do some parenting studies with the ministry that is associated with family life that we didn't know about until
Look at that.
A year before we retired, and it's called Crew Military. So family life is a crew division, and Crew Military is the ministry of crew that's focused on evangelism and discipleship with the military.
So, Juvilyn, we are going to be doing a unwrap and recap of episode 88. And we're starting off, this is the faith and marriage episode with Crew Military. And if you remember, that's the one where we talked to Beth Runkle of Crew Military. And I think like my favorite moments from kind of talking with her is her transparency about like her bitterness, and how she even like used the word hate. Like she was like, "I hated my military lifestyle." And I appreciate it when guests come on and they can be that transparent. And I love how, as she had this walk of faith through Crew, like she really, at the end, you'll hear in the clip, like she turned everything around, and it was like, wait, it's time for us to retire. Wait, we're going to get out of here. Like, no, these are my people. And it's like, right. Like so different, such a change. So what did you think about that particular episode?
I actually really liked it. Like you said, I loved her transparency. I don't think you see a lot of that. And so I really relate to military spouses who can actually be transparent and say, "I hated military marriage. I wasn't expecting it. I didn't know what I was walking into, and I absolutely hated it." And that's what I got from her. But I love how she really focused and explained that marriage is sacrificial. And when you throw a marriage onto it, it becomes even more sacrificial, because you really have to put the value in putting your spouse first, which I think a lot of us, even though it's so cliche, everyone says, "You know what you're signing yourself up for?" Most of us don't. And she made a very clear point that she didn't know what she was signing herself up for, and she hated it. But I think by putting her faith first, she talks about faith is really crucial in a marriage, and actually looking to God first. And she got involved in small group studies, and then just having those small connections that led to bigger connections.
Oh, yeah.
It allowed her to appreciate what the military community had to offer, as well as following her calling with God. So I think that is huge, because not for all of us that are not, spiritual, having that calling and knowing your purpose really will allow you to basically embrace what God is giving you instead of hating it, which was her exact words. So I really love that.
Yeah. And I can relate, because even as she started talking about how she was like, she didn't feel ready. Like she felt ill-equipped to host these small group studies, but there she was, just being willing to open up her home and create the space. And in her being open, right, and willing to host, her marriage was impacted for the better because of it. So I took away from that as like, maybe that is something that I'll try. I mean, the pandemic 6 feet distance and all that stuff. Like after things kind of calm down a little more, I can Lysol my house. And I really think that's something that I'd like to try, hosting a small group study on marriage right here, because I really do feel like when you are put in positions like a leader, especially when it's like, you're not necessarily chasing after that leadership position, right? But you're forced in a position, or you just say yes, right? To being in a leadership position, you learn so much more. And like, you really do receive when you're in those roles.
No, I agree with that, because she, one that she really said, I was able to embrace this calling to become a joint calling. So we were able to lead together and appreciate each other. And I think a lot of us, even when you're starting out earlier in a military marriage, you don't appreciate being together or knowing that your calling may be with your spouse directly.
Yeah.
Find our calling individually. So how she was able to find their calling together and then embrace that and then thrive. I think that's huge. I think that's really, I admired it. And I really like that about what she had to say.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And just shout out to Beth. Beth, thank you so much for being on Hearts and Stripes podcast. Your life, I know you maybe, as you went through all the hard things and continue to pursue, and now you're in a leadership role with Crew Military. I don't think you planned this, but you definitely have been a light to so many couples. And that's really awesome and encouraging to see how, when we just take those small steps and say yes to little things like hosting a small group, how it can really make a big impact. So thank you, Beth. We are so grateful for you. And shout out to your episode being like one of the top episodes that was listened to here on Hearts and Stripes. I love it when our faith series, because this was actually the Marriage and Faith series. So I love it that one of the Marriage and Faith series episodes made it to the top. So that's really great and encouraging to see.
I love that. Yes. Congratulations. I really appreciated your insight, your love, and how you're thriving now, and your transparency. It was really, really nice to actually get a second opinion about it and go into depth with you.
Yes. So for everyone who is listening to this Unwrap and Recap, so that you can catch the full episode where you can hear from Beth, her story. Again, that was during the Marriage and Faith series, but that was episode 88. If you want to hear Beth Runkle of Crew Military, but if you want to catch everything that was in the Marriage and Faith series, that's episode 87 to 91. So that is it for today's recap. I hope that you can go back, listen to those past episodes. See, even if you listen to them a first time, re-listen to it and see what your aha moments are. We can't wait for you to share maybe what that new revelation that you got from the episode, or something new that kind of stood out to you regarding military marriages. Share that with us. I will make sure that Juvilyn and my Instagram handles are in the show notes so that you can share with us like your thoughts. We want to hear the comments. We want you to be a part of this conversation, because that is what we're doing throughout this holiday season. As we unwrap these episodes, we're going to share a little bit of joy. And I think this episode will be out right before the Thanksgiving season. So to everybody out there, from Juvilyn and I, happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy that time with family. And in prep, Juvilyn, what are you prepping for Thanksgiving? Before we go, let's get into the food, right?
Yes, I love Thanksgiving. Is one of my favorite holidays, mainly because of the food. I feel like it's the one holiday where you can indulge and not feel guilty, or at least yes. I don't. But we always have lumpia. That's a family tradition for ours. We have to have lumpia. And then my mom makes, I'm super excited because I'm from Hawaii. So now that I'm out here, I'll actually get to have my parents here. But my mom makes a real mean honey baked ham and collard greens. Oh, I'm super excited for that. And then we usually have a turkey, but it's actually small, because in my household, turkey is not big in our household. So yeah. We don't have that. And then we actually do pecan pie instead of pumpkin pie.
I
So
love that. I'm coming to Hawaii. I'm going to Hawaii to
yes,
have Thanksgiving with Juvilyn and the family. Mom, save me a plate. Especially some lumpia. We appreciate you. But no, you hit it. You hit the nail on the head. You totally called out some of my favorites. Shameless plug, everybody out there who's really at Thanksgiving just for the sides. You are my people. Like I could do without the turkey. That honey glazed ham though. I am here for that though. But
yes.
for the most part, I am a sides girl. I'm gonna have all the sides, the dressing, the greens, the yams, corn,
Nice.
mashed potato, all the thing. I am here for all of the sides. And then I will go get dessert. Typically, I like a sweet potato pie. And then after I get my dessert, then it's like you start over. You have to start again, and then you get another plate of dinner. And its cycle just continues. It's like you eat a little plate of dinner, you get some dessert, and then you start again. So
I love
that is the plan. But everybody out there from Hearts and Stripes podcast, particularly Juvilyn and I, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you for tuning in. Remember to rate, subscribe, and review. This is Hearts and Stripes. We are the few, the proud, that aim high and are forged by love. Always ready, always there. We are Mill Marriage Strong.